Welcome to JB and Things, a podcast dedicated to talking about nothing on something that means everything. We discuss how we relate with the non-living things around us and how they affect our relationships with the people around us. Welcome to JB and Things, a podcast where we talk about nothing, something, and everything. Once again, we welcome you all. I want to introduce the host, JB, our support host, Anu. I am Delapo, your co-host. We've talked about many things. Today we are talking about cars.
Are we talking about cars or vehicles?
We're talking,
Vehicles, right?
I say vehicles.
Yeah,
Yeah, vehicles.
because cars can be a little bit limiting, isn't it?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I like that.
Against other types of vehicles.
Vehicles.
Isn't it? So,
There are motorcycles, there's bicycles. Yeah, you're right.
so yeah, go ahead. So we're talking about vehicles, right? Nice one. Nice one. I know there's someone here. Mr. D,
Yes, sir.
you love your car. Couple of things I know that you like or
Yeah.
even love, right?
Yeah, love.
Car is one of them.
Oh, it's of course.
So come on, tell me about that. How did that love for cars develop?
Okay. When I was very young, still living in Nigeria, just, I saw a car. Really, it was in a movie, I don't remember the name of the movie, but I see these sport cars, and it really piqued my interest. It's the speed that really piqued my interest. And when my father at the time was asking me, he wants to buy a car, and in Nigeria at the time, the Mazda with the numbers 262, 545,
Yeah.
404, things like that. Those are interesting. But the Mercedes and the BMW, the luxury cars, is really what I really love. So I said, you know what, Dad, I'd like a Mercedes, and my favorite color was red. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm excited. Like, he really got this car, and I fell in love with the car. And every time he drive, it was a manual shift. So he had to, hit the clutch, change the gear, let go of the clutch, and it was just nice. So from there I would say it really, really,
And then you nurtured that.
and yes, and then I nurtured it. Games, toys. When I play with these toys and these toy cars, I'm imagining myself driving these vehicles, these cars, and
See, that love is deep.
He has a
Well,
remote control
the,
cars.
the good news is that your love for cars over the years still has not faded.
Yeah,
That's a good thing. It doesn't happen often.
you're right.
People fall in love, they fall out of love.
Mm.
You don't want something. The question is, will this last for long?
That is it. Yeah.
So I'm very happy for you, my friend.
Thank you.
I know cars. I mean vehicles.
I think I'm the complete opposite of that.
Ouch.
Oh.
I really don't have sort of a negative relationship with carts and bicycles.
Is it carts?
Yeah, carts.
Like
They're a form of vehicle too.
we're talking about,
you know,
like the grocery
the,
carts?
No, like the carts that you use that you see on. Imagine selling like all those yams
Yeah.
or something. Those carts that they used to carry those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
think of those two as very cool.
really.
I don't have any feelings towards those and bicycles. Bicycles because I never finished learning how to ride one. So
You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know how to ride
Nope.
a bicycle.
Really.
Um,
It's okay. I learned in
yeah.
grade 8, and that's pretty late.
yeah.
But you still haven't learned till this
No.
day.
No.
Someone, JB, if you want to teach, okay.
I'm too expensive right now. It's like
That's okay.
it's like $500
That's okay.
an hour. So, but that's fine.
Yeah, but
It's funny you said that.
cars in particular, I find there's so much with cars. If I could just take the transit for like the rest of my life and just get anywhere, I would love that. I love planes more. Planes,
Okay.
I love.
Okay.
Cars, cars in winter, So many accidents, even in summer, so many
Yeah,
accidents. You're just going on your own and they come and
it's
hit
true.
you.
It
Trucks are big. They smash into something, they crush it.
yeah.
So all I can think of when I think of cars and trucks is just more often it really helped the situation. So nah,
It's
no
it's
cars for
it's
me.
funny to think about, and we will definitely go back to that and talk about the negative sides of
Mm-hmm.
the car,
Mhm.
or vehicles, because I've had a lot of experiences with vehicles, a lot of bad ones,
Mm.
but I still
Nothing can change the love you have.
no,
So that's a good thing.
no.
You know, through thick and thin,
I
he's still in love.
I hope my future wife can, when she does hear this, understand how much love I have for the car, for cars, that she understands her role in me.
Wow, he's gonna name.
Always,
He's gonna
my all my cars have names.
oh
Oh
wow.
yeah. But I believe, I mean, some people might not like this, but it goes in the household. It'll be me, then the car, then the kids, and then maybe her.
Wow.
Then soccer,
Oh,
then her.
I hear
So
some protest
Oh my God. God,
too.
you are
That's a
so
long
much in
line of
trouble.
protest.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
I
Yes.
can't wait to hear some comments on
I
this.
know.
Here's the thing, because you're being honest,
I mean, hey, you
Mm.
have to be.
and it's good to be honest. You know, as long as you have that discussion with your future wife ahead of time, you say, look, let's talk about four,
Yeah.
right? And then if she says that's fine with me, hey, you know what? We'll be fine.
C'est la vie. That's life.
Yeah, but if she says, you know what, forget it,
Yeah.
and that's it.
You might have to practice some of your arguments though.
Yeah.
Some responses
Serious.
to,
Yeah,
to
you're right.
questions. Questions.
I'm indifferent.
Hmm.
I say,
That's it.
I don't get that.
I know you.
You know.
We've seen your car.
We've seen your car.
Hmm. No comment. But I'm just gonna say that, notwithstanding what you see, it's outward.
Hmm.
Inwardly, though, I'm indifferent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The last car I had, or the last SUV I had before this SUV, about not liking vehicles. Maybe it's about not really caring about changing vehicles as often. Like I have friends that almost every year they have to change
Yeah.
something else. And I call them, I said they're engaging in vehicular.
To say this, I sort of see a theme here. How old is his phone again? When we talked about phones.
Oh yeah, it's true.
That's true.
Yeah, he's held
And
on.
the chair he had for how many years?
Yeah.
for a
And
year.
now we're on vehicles too.
Vehicles
the same
too.
thing.
Yeah,
Same thing.
maybe I just don't like change.
There's a pattern.
There's a part
He doesn't like change.
he doesn't like.
Had for 10 years. When I was done with it, sent it to Nigeria. So I'm still not done with it.
Continues its work.
Send it back to the motherland.
Yeah, it's right in the motherland. No, I can imagine what that vehicle is saying right now. You abandoned me? But no, it's in a warmer weather.
Yeah.
You know,
It might have some dents. It might have some dents already.
Right, you
It
know,
might
it's parked somewhere.
get a panel beater just to make sure that.
It's parked somewhere. Someone is looking after it. So, but you know, he must be missing me now. But that's the thing about vehicles. But when I get one, or if I get one, whenever I get one, saying,
Yeah.
well, I don't have to have too many of them, and it doesn't have to be changed like every other day. You know what I mean? So fall in love for a long.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Mhm.
I do. I see. You know, have the perfect 3-car garage. See, I already said 3. This for myself, not for the family. Just for myself. 3. You need a Sunday sports car. You need the weekday family car. You know, maybe a big SUV. Also for the winter.
Steve and Emma.
Yeah, right.
No,
Like
Stella.
Steve. No, you see, Steve is such a boring name. You
Oh,
know.
he has their names.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, Natalia. Those are the names. Something
Oh, wow.
exotic. Maybe there'll be a BC there, or a Tolu or something.
Hmm.
Maybe in the future. You know,
African.
Tolu the Toyota. Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But I think about, okay, if I had a perfect 3-car garage, There's, a Sunday sports car, a family car for the week, and then maybe a Saturday car as well. That would be I think I'd keep those for a longer period of time because I can just interchange. I'd like to think at least, right?
It sounds like one of those, oh wow, there's a magazine. Oh, I can see the latest specs on this new
Mm-hmm.
car that just came out. And
Yeah,
just like, when can I get that? Do I need to
yeah.
go on a list?
I was looking at cars last night. I'm not gonna
You
lie to you.
see?
I was.
That's it. That's the local for you.
Yeah. It's
So
gonna be changing every year.
yeah, there's a
Every
pattern here, right?
Yeah,
Even for you too.
you're right.
I got that. But generally speaking, though, how will you when I look at a vehicle and you're right, uh the car that they use in moving is used to transport people or things, goods, is a vehicle. But if I'm to zero in on cars, SUVs, trucks, and stuff like that, a friend told me a story many years ago that has remained with me. When his son got his license to drive, and then he came home, he was very happy. He was like, "Dad, I got my license, now I can drive your car." I said, "No problem. I'll take you into the car." Took the young man to the car. He was like 17. Said, "This is great. Tell me the positives."
Hmm.
I said, "You know what, Dad? I can take my girlfriend out. I can take my sister out. I don't have to bother you anymore. You don't have to drive me to school." Da, da, da. So listed like so many positives, which were great. I don't see any negatives. That's it. Look, it's always a side to a coin.
Hmm.
This vehicle, this car that you are in, just take a look at it and think about it as a weapon. It can also mess up your life if it's not used properly. If you are not careful, if you drink and drive, you can get into an accident and kill someone. If you're reckless on the road, you can hit someone and kill someone. Or you might have some medical problems as a result of the accident for the rest of your life. So every time you pick the keys, you're going to drive this vehicle. I just want you to think about the positives and the negatives. Or irresponsible driving this vehicle. Because there are so many third parties out there that I might get into problems if I'm not careful.
Hmm.
And also, you need to also understand that there are people out there that might also get into trouble. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
these are the positives and the negatives. And I think that was a great advice. And I have said the same thing to my kids. Like, just look at it and don't be reckless when you drive. What do you guys think?
No, I love that. I really love that. And it brings me back to so many stories I have and just, things in my head about driving and just seeing that as a privilege, really, right? A privilege to have your license, a privilege to get in the car. That's why it's not a right. And so what you're getting into is one of not just a vehicle, but a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's something that can cause a lot of pain for a lot of people if not done the right way, right? If not um, driven the right way. So it's before I'll definitely be using that more as I drive and as I'm so maybe in traffic, someone cuts me off or something crazy happens. Instead of reacting, I I don't react,
Mm-hmm.
right? This story I have years ago. I used to fast. I would say I drove with a purpose, right? Where some other people on the road who drive with no purpose, don't know where they're going under the speed limit, so on and so forth. I was always pushing the edge, and I was also quick to anger to react, not to the level of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but But the anger. Oh, what is the guy doing? Why isn't he or she in the right lane? What's happening? Blah 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 blah. Blah. And recently, just a few weeks ago, I was driving through an intersection near my neighborhood. A car just swerved. I'm like, okay, let me just shift lanes, and this is all going very quickly. Let me shift lanes to make sure that I don't hit the person that comes over to the lane I'm shifting into, and I narrowly squeezed by their car. And I was with my friend at the time, and he was scared, and he said, "Why aren't you shaking? Why aren't you scared? Why aren't you more angry?" It's interesting that this is okay. So at a red light, I stopped and I looked over to the car that was approaching that where this accident was almost caused, and I just wanted to say to the person, what are you doing? Not to yell. And I saw the person's face is a lady, very apologetic and putting her hands up. And then after, and I said, okay, I'll go in. I heard her just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Then I look back in her car and she had a baby in the car. And I go, wow, this car, which is a vehicle to help me, that because with COVID and quarantine, maybe they haven't seen the baby. Maybe all these happy things are happening for that to her that day, but she almost also caused this accident. And if I were to react in a certain way, I might have ruined her day, right? She might have been just more, and I guess I've grown a little bit, but showing her patience, you know, I think it's given me a higher respect just for driving a car
And for yourself.
and for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. How you, I know.
A lot of the reactions, like you said, and the emotions. Um, I'm the kind of person that when I'm driving, I would never roll down my window and shout out at somebody, or even I would just wonder if I'm with someone in the car. I don't think I'd ever
But then
do
you're
that.
not living if you're not yelling at somebody.
No.
Okay, fine.
I find if I focus so much on people's negative attitude, then
Yeah.
it can affect my own driving.
You're right.
Let's say, for instance, I made a turn too fast, and then the driver rolls down and making a turn. I'm questioning my choices.
Yeah.
I'm questioning, am I turning too fast? Is that person behind me gonna deal? Is the person gonna react? Then what happens? I slow my speed down. I might end up hitting somebody right there. So I really tend to think of not just my emotions. I try to growing up. I was like 12. I was hit by a guy trying to make an extra lane for himself. This is in African traffic.
Yeah.
He's trying to make an extra lane for himself, and he just came out of nowhere and hit me and the person taking me across the road.
Wait, hold on. You're talking about not
Oh
in a
yeah,
car, in a person, like you're
no,
walking.
like literally, yeah.
Yeah, it's car.
And
Oh, wow.
this, I had to be away from school for like a month, and I wasn't fully. I was 12 at that point.
Yeah.
So this was like really traumatic to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, it takes years. I've gotten over this, and I've grown. I've going. I see the amber light,
Yeah.
and I'm in the middle and just trying to get to the other end. And this driver, trying to rush out of his zone and make that light, comes and hits me right there. And the funny part, or the sad part,
Oh,
I
wow.
was with somebody in that car. So when you're driving or when you're in a car, if it's just you, you're worried about you. But if, let's say, okay, that day I decided to go out with my cousin,
Yeah.
she could have stayed home. All I could think of at that point is, oh my God, I should have left her at home. I wasn't even thinking of how hurt with me. And this guy, just because he was being impatient,
Yeah.
almost made a situation that I honest to God, that day kind of like it's a blur of what happened, how it came out.
Yeah.
Till today, even when they were asking me, I'm like, we were just going straight. I think that's all I could be from home. It's 2 days to Christmas. I just wanted to get home.
Yeah.
And because somebody was being impatient, he almost killed us.
Wow.
Wow.
And the interesting part for me wasn't even looking back on that situation now. Two things really got to me. The accident,
Oh.
she came to pull us out. but she was just crying. And I looked at her and I was like, lady, I'm the one that's supposed to be crying, but you're crying.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's, yeah. And she's like, the car looked so bad. And that's all she could say. The car looked so bad. She was so scared.
Oh
The car
no.
looked so. At that point, what do you expect him to do? Apologize, own up to what he's done.
What do you do?
I was the one that went up to him and was asking, "Are you okay?"
You're a nice person.
Right?
You're
And
nice.
when the police came, he pretended he had fainted.
You see, that's why you don't go up to them and ask them as a nice person. That's why you gotta pretend first. Be
and
I mean, sorry. There was microphone feedback. Microphone feedback. What I meant to say is, what you have to do is the good thing, the right thing. What you did is to go up there and yeah, it was
exactly.
the microphone. Is the microphone that was messing up there.
That lady that was crying, you know, that was
She was
yeah.
more traumatized than
yeah.
I was.
We people have seen others get into accident using vehicles to get into accident, and then they have been more traumatized um, for life. And that's why we have to think about it. As we're getting into those vehicles, again, we are asking ourselves, you know what? I'm just not. We have to be responsible. Drinking and driving, he said,
Yeah.
no, all those kind of
Yeah.
stuff. You know,
Or
so
being distracted even on the road.
Yeah.
especially using the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about the phone the other time, and you know, that's something that happens a lot these days. People testing while they're driving. You know, sometimes you think you're in control. You know what? Something happens.
Yeah.
You know, so I got that. Let me go back to where we started from. You know, falling in love, being in love with your vehicle.
I don't think I can.
Mm,
Too many experiences.
If that vehicle that you are in love with, possibly more than members of your family, have you seen people that wake up in the morning, they spend like 2-3 hours on their vehicle?
no, I don't know. I pay a mechanic to do that.
They will wash it, they will wax it, they will polish it, they will talk to it, they will talk. Meanwhile, you know, family members that are waiting
Yeah.
and that you've been spending time. What would that kind of a vehicle save to that person?
Give me a break.
You think so?
You're clingy.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're
You're way
clingy.
too clingy.
Wow, kidding me because a lot of people don't even wash their cars sometimes. In years, a lot of people don't take care of their cars. You see cars with lots of dents. You see cars with old cars that just when you get in, you go, oh, who lives here? Like, is this your house or food and all these other things? It's so wow.
I've been in cars like that.
Yeah, so it's interesting
True.
that when JB asked what would that car say, I was thinking of the appreciation, love, and you thought, nah, leave me alone. It's clingy.
Like
That
I
is,
said.
it's such a difference.
Yep.
It's
Don't
such
worry, we're on the
like this. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe the middle ground is sometimes he will say, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he will say, you know what, that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
You're gonna wear out my paint.
Yeah. That's you know where my pains, you know, how it kind of affects other people, even within our household and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But talking about cars, I know people who have gone into debt just to get cars, just to get SUVs or whatever, you know. Good idea.
Oh,
For their status,
for this,
maybe.
so I'll say two things. My first answer, the direct answer to that question, no, it is never a good idea to go into debt to get a status symbol like a vehicle, a nice vehicle, a luxury brand, so-called. Need to fake it to make it. And with that, you have to, let's say you're working at a firm, and you know that your bosses are allowing you to go to different meetings. Let's say you drive a Toyota Corolla, 98 Corolla. It's a 98 Corolla. That's how many years now? Over 20. This is BMW, Benz. For triple the price, it'll break my bank, but my supervisors, my bosses, the partners at the firm might enjoy themselves more. And maybe a conversation could start, and maybe that could lead. You know what? This person is trying to use this as a vehicle to grow. You know what I'm saying? As a vehicle to grow. That's what I think they're doing.
I think Delacroix still can't hide his love of cars.
That's
Even
what,
when it's clearly a negative.
you know, it's trying. But I know though that there are people that will do that for business reasons. Again, like you said, very good to grow. Um, when you go to a place and there are people that will ask driving, that kind of thing. So, but even at that, um, going to debt just to show up, it's never good.
No.
Never
I agree.
good. You know, purely because it kind of depreciates so fast.
Yeah.
By the time you drive,
Exactly. The statement you made, what are you driving?
Mm-hmm.
There are other ways to answer that question.
mhm,
You know, you might be driving a 19 something Corolla right now.
drive a Corolla.
However, that does not diminish your love of cars.
Yeah. Nor define.
Oh, I'm driving this, but I wish I could drive this car. Then you go into the conversation about that
It's
car.
true, and
It
yeah,
answers the question just in a separate way, in a different way. Right?
yeah.
You don't have to speak with your bank account
You're right.
necessarily.
But then it speaks to your own, that, what, the vehicle does not define me,
No.
because I can walk into a place and drive the best vehicle and everything, and then they might ask me one or two questions. I might, what? I say, well, he doesn't have anything upstairs.
Yeah.
What's going on? So, develop yourself. That's extremely important, and it has to work very well. Okay? So that you don't want to wake up in the morning and spend your time trying to fix the tire, fix this, fix that. That was one advice I got from my principal years ago when I was at the law school in Nigeria. And he had a meeting with all of us. He said, guys, one thing you must make sure that when you are going to court, your clients and the judge and everyone is not waiting for you because your vehicle had broken down down the road.
Yeah.
So if it works very well, if it's clean, you're good. But then we're all different.
Yeah. I've got to ask a question. Used to get from point A to point B versus the premise of a vehicle is where I spend maybe half my life in, and I need to feel comfortable. It's not just a point A to point B machine. It is a second living room. It's a second home. Where would you hold it? Where would you classify a vehicle?
Wow. Because the second one, just with you saying that statement of the car is where I spend half my life, has sort of reminded me of a conversation I once had with Mr. Babala, actually.
Okay.
Of somebody that lived in their car.
Oh.
Right? Where is she right now? But I'm just going to use a she. That was where the person was able to uplift themselves and, eventually go around meeting people that eventually helped them
Wow.
to get a house. So in that situation, that car has a positive.
Yeah.
It's a build up. It's something they needed.
Yeah.
So if the car could not get them from point A to point B, it's pointless to have it.
It's true. There's a scene. There's a scene within the car realm is that you can live in a car, but you can't race a house. Right? So you're than a house. See, I'm digressing here.
No,
but-
that's a good question. One day we'll talk about houses.
yeah.
But it is a good question. But it kind of depends. I don't think an answer will fit it all. It depends on the circumstances of individuals and all those things, right?
He's talking like a lion.
32 years, it's become part of me, my DNA right now,
Of
right?
course.
So for me, if you ask me at this age now, I would say a house.
Yeah.
Well, right? Better than a car. That's me. I can always take Uber these days.
It's true.
There's Uber. There's all those kids in value. The house most often
Would appreciate.
appreciate and that kind of thing. So I compare that way.
Yeah.
And that's it. On the other hand, if you have a good truck, you can also buy a mobile house.
It's true.
Then attach it to it.
Yeah.
then move from one point to the other, right?
It's
So,
true.
it kind of depends.
List, and we can invest in some cars that don't depreciate.
I think I know what you're talking
You
about.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So
Vintage cars.
vintage, maybe some newer cars that are special editions, one ups, one of 13.
Lamborghinis.
We need
so
JB. We need your bank account.
yeah, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
but on the realm of Lamborghini and all that is now we're looking at the affluent side of things, right? People buying cars just because they want to impress other people, and just as the example I gave of the person that is gonna go in debt to impress his his boss, his superiors, status of affluence or anything like that, right? Should they just have been there for us when Ford brought out the Model T? Their saying was you can have the Model T in any color as long as it's black. That was their saying. Every car Model T. And at the time, cars weren't a thing. People still rode horses. Horses, not every horse had their all the braids and all these. Not every horse looked beautiful. Now people have different cars just to look good to see. Yeah,
You hear?
yeah,
Those things are pretty loud.
yeah, yeah.
Well, my take is pretty simple. It will always be status symbol.
Mm.
It will always be. I, if we were to be living in an egalitarian society,
Yeah.
where everyone is seen as being equal, it doesn't matter.
All cars will be square in shape
Yeah.
and black.
Yeah, that's
No customization allowed.
Yeah. You know what? The egalitarian side of things, it's interesting. In theory, it's a good idea because then you don't have neighbors fighting over things. You don't have the whole keeping up with a Johnson. That you, JB.
yeah, I know you are.
We don't have that entire idea, but because it's not, I believe that it also allows people to probably strive for more than they currently have. It can push someone, that person that is looking to for the next purchase. I want to buy a nice car. You're doing get off that couch. It that status symbol can be able to push people to do more than they currently are doing.
Yeah, yeah. But like we said, it can also push them to start living above their.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And,
it's a fine line.
what will my car or my vehicle say to me about how I treat it or them vehicles, like some people.
Anastasia's.
Anastasia's.
You know? So,
I'll, you know what? I'll answer that question. I would say my vehicle. One, I enjoy them when I drive them. I don't just drive, and spiritedly or not, sometimes I drive to look at the scenery. You drive up north, Oshawa, and just you're in farmland, but you're looking at a different view of life, a calm view of life. And also it's tidy, it smells nice. Taking care. If there's anything, there's a lot of dust or dirt on the vehicle, let's go get it washed. Right? Those things. But not being the guy that is every weekend waxing, buffing. Not being that person, but just appreciating that vehicle and I'm showing respect. I think I would say thank you.
yeah. And well, you don't have a car.
You don't have a car.
Well, I don't have a car,
They're,
but
they're calling your name. I'm
for
saying.
the cars that I do once in a while rent, I would agree that cars are
So you would say thank
So-
you.
Yes.
probably just I hope this was a good experience for you. I'm hoping that is what the car would tell me, because there are times that I use cars, of course.
Yeah.
If I want to go on a road trip, or I want to get some stuff done, I need to achieve what I've set out to achieve during the period. I need the car. Now, ultimately, with the way Canada is, you sort of need a car. If not, you're gonna freeze.
Yeah.
So, ultimately, I will be getting a car someday. So
Yeah.
I hope then my car would be able to say, I hope you're.
Say, hey, rest and believe in me, trust me. It might say that. Say trust because you might have some apprehension as you're on the roads.
I might pretend not to hear that.
I
But
was,
we'll see.
I I also think some vehicles will say to their owners, "Hear me with other people.
Mm.
You know, you have no control over who's going to be handling me.
Yeah.
So let them get used to me now before you go." Because there are people that will have like 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, and
Yeah.
they'll really say to people, "Don't touch it. Don't touch my car."
Yeah.
You know, and someday they're gone. Where's the key? I mean, very good, and that's
Let
that's
me take it
that's
for a
the
spin.
that's the reality of life, right?
Yeah.
That you can also share, right? And that's not to say you have to share with people who are irresponsible.
Yeah. Make
You
sure
know
they have insurance.
Just make sure the driver's
The
license
driver's
first.
license.
Yeah,
They
sure.
need to have that, but
Mm.
there's too many secrets,
Oh, true.
secrets everywhere you turn to within this vehicle. It's all about secrets.
Yeah.
So I'm dying of your secrets, of keeping your secrets.
Wow.
So you know what I mean. So sometimes when you step into that vehicle and you sit there think about this vehicle, so
Yeah.
that's a deep one.
Wow, that's a deep one. Mine definitely has some secrets.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a
That's
deep
a
one.
deep one.
So when you sell me to someone else,
Yeah.
come on, think about our history together. Think about what I'm taking.
Oh, wow.
So careful with.
Nah, I don't think cars are as much of a snitch as phones.
Phones, phones be
Yeah.
snitching. They
Yeah.
do. They
Yeah.
always reporting
Cars,
something
cars are a little bit more subtle.
more subtle, huh?
Yeah, I agree. So that's great. So I know that when I talk about secrets, but that's fine. So final thoughts. I think we've been at this for. This is a good topic.
I didn't even look at the
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. Final thoughts. Wow. It's having a vehicle. One, it's a privilege, right? It's not a right. So we have on the road. We've heard a news story of when she was younger and the driver that unfortunately hit her, and again when she was older of the person that also hit you in the middle of the road. So number one is care for ourselves, the vehicle, well, ourselves, each other, and then the vehicle. All right.
I think for me was just the love story of the mother and the kid. Just always remember, sometimes you're not in that car alone. You might be carrying your family, your future generation, your kids, or even just other people's family members. And the emotions you disses them and yourself a lot. If you are always angry on the road, you take that anger, it never quite leaves. You continue that anger, you're angry in the car, you get home, you're still pissed,
Yeah.
you know? And you take it out not just on your car, you take it out on the people on the road, you take it out on your family members when you get home.
That's true.
So, no, you can't always control other people's emotions, but you can control yours.
Yeah.
You can control how you react to things. And that really goes a long way in terms of your driving. Either a calm driver or you're a pissed off driver. Which one do you want to be?
Come on,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So that's in control of our environment. Pay attention, be
Mm-hmm.
in control, and don't be selfish when we're driving. We'll end with I love my stories. So
Every Nigerian man does.
I love my stories. So we'll end with a story of a friend of mine told, and then he rented a vehicle and then saw an empty parking lot. That was the only parking lot that was empty. So he was just driving and he just pulled in there, just like parked his car and then got out. Then the next thing he saw was a guy holding. I've been lining up for that spot for the last half an hour. You know, that guy just pulled out and you pulled in. So he was like, okay, you know what? Thank you. And he pulled out.
Oh.
So basically he did not pay attention to his own environment. He saw someone that was waiting, but he didn't. Many times have you felt heated? You've been waiting,
Yeah.
pull into an empty spot. Someone that just comes in there, and so you all paid attention to my environment. And driving on the road, somebody needs a space. Just let them go. Come on, keep the peace.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you'll be okay. Great stuff.
Thank you.
And of course, we're still online and we definitely want to hear some reactions. We've gotten a lot of them. We're going to talk about them later. Unfortunately, I think we're out of time today. But for those who are not sure where you can listen, we're also going to be on YouTube just to make it easy access for
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody. We don't have videos, but hey, you get to listen to our voice, which is
Good.
awesome.
Good, good, good. We'll
Uh,
just put a picture of ourselves
yeah,
smiling.
Yeah.
right there,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 And of course, you can drop your comments and if you have a topic like Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. So leave comments, leave reactions. We would love to hear them, and I'm sure Galakba will schedule a time for us to talk about them.
Oh, of course, definitely.
So
Definitely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, everybody. Stay lovely.
Nice one. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.